ESPN is losing its grip on college football. You hear the numbers, $1 billion to the SEC, $1 billion here, hundreds of millions of dollars. Oh, they love their hockey. They sure love their hockey. And then I sit down and I start to think about it. I'm thinking, what advertisers are paying billions of dollars? Because I know we get paid, you and I, on YouTube revenue. Yep. And I see what YouTube's doling out, and they are giving some real cash to people who don't have massive channels. And in this, this is from puck.com, says the peak TV era, the decade plus when streamers and networks forked over billions to grow and maintain their platforms, is now a relic of the past. And the sports media market appears to be following a similar trajectory. Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, unsurprisingly savvy trade partners. They mention less sexy leagues, F1, the Mountain West, the Pac-12, post-ESPN divorce MLB. Are going away with these TV contracts because the networks are running out of money. They don't have what they did because now advertisers, if I'm Hyundai, I'm going to YouTube and saying, hey, whoa, ESPN has a handful of million view broadcasts a year, or I can go to the Papa Meat channel on YouTube and ensure that every video has 4 million views. Great. And I'm going to put a lot less money into that too and get way more consistent exposure. ESPN's rule of college football, where all of the money they give to the SEC is going to keep the SEC at one, is slowly but surely dwindling.
Yeah, and I think you saw the writing on the wall for that when they just gave up Major League Baseball. They just didn't. Which is like a whole
ass thing, by the way. Like it's the literal MLB. Barry Bonds,
yes.
Ken Griffey Jr., Aaron Judge.
Pastime. And I get it. MLB is not what it used to be. It is still a pretty big money.
Savannah maker. Bananas, by the way.
Shout out Fenway. It's just crazy though that ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, just sits there and they're like, you know what, we don't really need that anymore. And they look at a lot of their on-air talent and think, I don't really need that anymore. They do that a couple times a year now. And it's because all of that money is going into there. And there is something to be said for a network that you wouldn't go to otherwise outside of a live sports broadcast. You know what I mean? Like think about that from an advertiser standpoint. Like you just mentioned, you can advertise on this channel that posts 3 times a week, every week, gets 1 million views on everything. Locked on Big 12, of course, what I'm talking about. And know that you're getting a captive audience all the time and know the demographics that you're hitting versus live sports on ESPN. It's like, sure, you're going to pay a bunch of money to get in that spot, right, during a live broadcast, but there's also a ton of other spots that your advertisements go in that aren't on a live broadcast. And who's watching SportsCenter? Who's watching PTI? Who is watching the Pat McAfee show? A lot of people, but like it's not what it used to be versus, a CBS of sorts, that's an absolute monster on NFL football, and then most of the rest of the week too. Am I making that was kind of convoluted?
Yeah, no, I don't think you're off because SportsCenter's on when I'm in the hotel room. And when you go to the dentist, I sometimes watch McAfee. The dentist is like a Disney movie still, and like, hey, I'm an adult dentist. We don't have to do this. I
wandered into a gym one time. They had it on.
I calms people.
I was lost.
I don't watch a ton of Pat McAfee. I think I turn it on now and see lacrosse frequently. They love lacrosse.
Sport of the future.
They love some things that just people aren't watching. It pretty much becomes the Ocho for all of July.
Well, see, this is interesting because I didn't watch it today, but I did get a tweet Sunday afternoon that the MLB All-Star Game announcement, which is supposed to be on ESPN, was backed up because Cornhole was on.
Yep. And people wonder why ESPN is struggling so much in the category of raising funds. And it's not all ESPN's fault because, again, YouTube TV or YouTube has popped off. And you have the exact same thing from Roku to Amazon to all. And TNT seems to be pretty savvy with this. But I wonder why they dole out so much money for the UFL, knowing pretty well it's going to fail. Knowing they're not going to recoup
because all the other rival football leagues have failed. I mean, what kind of an excuse is that?
This one's different. And it's frustrating that people talk about it all the time. Oh, I miss the ESPN I grew up with. I miss the old ESPN. And I think maybe it's not the worst thing in the world that now they don't have the grip on college football, or that soon they won't have the same grip on college football that they've had, because their money is the reason Texas and Oklahoma left the Big 12. And ultimately, a big catalyst for Colorado leaving the Big 12, or Missouri, or Texas A&M, and killing some of the matchups. ESPN, in a not so roundabout way, is the reason that Bedlam doesn't happen every year. And so if we finally lose this God in the sky who's making college football what it is today, I don't really mind that.
Yeah, and like, not for nothing, there is an ESPN contract with the Big 12 as well. But to your point, like, it's the SEC is their baby. It's like they've been pregnant with the SEC for 15 years, man.
Have a C-section at that point. Induce or something.
And so maybe this does level the playing field. Obviously, these TV deals have been what's driven all the conference realignment in the last 6 or 8 years here. And certainly it has a role in NIL and the transfer portal in weird kind of roundabout ways. It all comes back to the TV deals and the money. So if ESPN is not this strong life-bearing organism to the SEC, maybe that does help everybody else. I don't know. Could it?
I hope so. I would think so. Not surprising, again, given all the streaming stuff, where it's going.
And basically, it's just like, how much more money can we give is basically that article. It's like, we can't, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing left. It's like sports ticket prices feel like they have to hit that at some point here of like, it's just too expensive. It's just, we can't do it anymore.
Typically every Tuesday, I go get Chick-fil-A, sit at the house. What I would love to watch SportsCenter. I would have 10 years ago. I know what you're doing. The U logos bounce around, boop, 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 and they got the ESPN U. They're one's a symbol, one's a
for the holiday.
I would watch that. Instead, I come home. I turn YouTube on. I watch Locked On Big 12. I turn YouTube on, and I watch John Boyce. Like I'll turn on anything John Boyce, or I think it's SB Nation. They weren't, they do the weird, wild, zany stuff, and I'll just watch
like Locked On Arizona. Yeah,
15 minutes of that, or I'll watch Nathan For You, or The Rehearsal, or and I'm invested in sports. I love sports, but I want to see the YouTube version of sports. I'll watch one that says why Memphis will never be in a power conference. I'm like, I would love to know. Show me a little biography on this. Give me a little backup on why Memphis can't. And it's fun to watch. In SportsCenter, you turn it on. I'm like, yeah, Sabalenka's great. This is cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
But then the next segment is cornhole. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's a good point, man. I watch a ton of YouTube. I had one last night that was the NHL player who traded himself in the middle of a game. Yeah. I'm like, you just can't replicate that on SportsCenter. We've evolved past that.
The craziest Jeff Francoeur stories of all time. And it's great. John Boyce is making it. I think Francoeur is, because he was in the East for a while, right? And then he's had like was he in Miami for a bit? He got traded to 8 places there at the end. And
he'll bounce around. In
the middle of Boyce editing the video, he's like, hey, quick pause. Just want to insert myself here. While I was editing this video, he got traded to Miami again. Like it's the beauty of these produced pieces that you can't get on ESPN, where the same guy, Jeff Francoeur, had just been traded in the middle of the editing process, and they had to go back and it's like, I can't change the video now, but just want to let you know. and I love that so much more. I can see why ESPN is losing money, because Hyundai or Toyota or whoever are like, yeah, we could advertise Toyotathon to YouTube, hit a much broader audience, but also an audience that we can kind of curate and feel like our money's going in the right direction. That's Cameron Stewart at Real Cam Stewart on Twitter and wherever you find your podcast with Locked On Baylor and YouTube. This has been, it always will be, a crossover Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Baylor and Dose Grande.
Bye.